when you're so smart that you're stupid. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Also, Beating Black and Blue, my book, Being a Black Cop in America Under Siege, available on Amazon, 144 pages, so it's a very easy read. You can get it on audiobook as well. Link is below in the description section. Y'all know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, I'm going to assume that his name is Eli Mistel. I could be getting it wrong reading what my favorite subject. Go Google him and figure his real name out. But this guy, not this guy, this is actually a girl that literally makes me want to throw up every time I see her on the camera. But the guy that they interviewed said that the Constitution is trash and should be thrown out or rewritten. I'm going to let him speak for himself, so you don't think I put any words in his mouth, and then I'm going to rebut it. Roll the film.
Some will say, okay, so are you arguing for throwing out the Constitution? Should the Constitution be thrown out? What do we do? Is it a living document? Or is it a sacred document?
It's certainly not sacred. All right, let's start there. The Constitution is kind of trash. Now, let's just talk as adults for a second.
What did you say? It's what?
It's kind of trash.
Trash.
It was written by slavers and colonists and white people who were willing to make deals with slavers and colonists. They didn't ask
So
anybody look like me what they thought about the Constitution. They didn't say, oh, Jim, come over here. What do you think about this old Constitution? Well, massa, I sure don't like how you sell my children. But I gotta say, man, this King George, he needs to be stopped. Yeah. My grandpapa used to say, ain't no taxation without representation for massa.
His southern voice is trash.
That's not what happened.
Okay.
Right? This document was written without the consent of black and brown people in this country and without the consent of women in this country. And I say if that is the starting point, the very least we can do is ignore what those slavers and colonists and misogynists thought and interpret the Constitution in a way that makes sense for our modern world. That's the starting line.
Do you want to rewrite it?
I could, right? I could rewrite parts of it in a tweet, right?
Listen to what this fool said. Listen to what these people think.
Like, how about popular election for the president? People vote, not land.
That's not even in there. Or is it?
I'm saying
Yeah,
if I was rewriting it, we could do it in a tweet, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know.
Term limits for Supreme Court justices. And how about no states' rights when it comes to health care, elections, policing, and guns?
Right.
All right. Y'all can watch the rest of this. Let's go from the very top. Show me a place in the world that's more equitable and fairer than the United States of America. Show me a document in which you want to be underneath that is not the Constitution of the United States of America. Just because it doesn't have black consent, women consent, does not mean that the document isn't representative of those people. People somehow act like because you're white and you're a man, somehow you're not a human. Somehow you're not a great thinker. Somehow God ain't on your side. I think that the founding documents were written by men who believed in God, who were inspired to write a document that can outlast time. The things that we see in the Constitution are coming into effect even today in 2022. You heard him say no states' rights. Popular vote for the presidential election. We have never not had electoral college votes. But what they do know is that they have these people in New York and in California that will decide every single election, pretty much eliminating the flyover states, the people who live in the flyover states. We technically we won't be the United States anymore. We would be just one big country that's not divided into states with states' rights. The policing, gun laws. But this is totalitarian mentality. This is fascism, socialism, communism, all wrapped in one. There's nothing wrong with states' rights. We are the United States of America. Each state have rights. The federal government shall not infringe on inalienable rights of individuals, and they should not attempt to thwart the state's rights. That's why if you want to live over here and you want to vote for no guns and everybody, the thugs are just shooting up your community, that Texas don't have to abide by that. Neither does Arizona or any other of these sane places where people can have their rights, the rights that were in the founding documents. This man, they get so smart that they become ignorant. You can be intelligent and still be stupid. You can have all the big words you want and go to all and have all the degrees. But if you can't logically understand the fallacy or the problems with not having a document like the Constitution of the United States of America, which the founding fathers preceded or at least they projected that all people would have rights given to us from God. The right to free the slaves, the amendment to free the slaves, to give them voting rights and citizenship. You want to get rid of that? What document do you have? Oh, it's the progressive document. The document that would put conservatives in internment camps. These are the type of people that want to do that. The fascists that fight fascism with fascism. The people who fight racism with racism. And then he goes on to talk about the fact that it was written by, I'm going to play it real quick because I want y'all to hear what he said.
It's just better. That's just better, and you can do that in a tweet.
Can't the amendments help some of that?
Well, here's the problem with the amendment process.
Really fast now. I got 20 seconds.
The problem with the amendment process is that in American history, there have been 115 people allowed to interpret what the amendments mean. 108 of them have been white.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Well, you are so.
Is that not racism? Just the mere fact that they're white, it tells you that that's a problem. Like how does that alone? If all of them were black, he wouldn't have a problem with it. If all of them were minorities, that's fine. But because they were white, majority of them were white, then that's a problem. What you should actually be thinking of is that, wow, that almost says a lot about white people that we live in the greatest country on planet Earth. And if you want to claim it's founded exclusively by white people or ruled by white people, then kudos to them. Show me where else you want to live other than the West. You don't want to live East, and none of y'all are advocating for principles, governments that exist currently on the continent of Africa. Not any of those countries. Nobody's advocating for the blackest countries on planet Earth. You're not trying to live nothing like they live in. Y'all are over here absorbing the sun from the Western European countries, pretty much, Western world, and complaining. But show me where else you would like to live on the globe. Show me countries that are primarily black that you would rather live in. Mostly black. Okay, there ain't none. You're beating up the white man, but I think the white man got it figured out. It seemed like everybody else still slow rolling. The white man in the West got it figured out. And instead of you saying the American Constitution in America in and of itself is a mindset, it's not a color. Freedom is a mindset. Freedom is an idea. It's not a color of somebody's skin. Kudos to the men. Let me just say this. I bet you he's an atheist. And if he's a Christian, he got a big problem. Because are you complaining about the men who wrote the Bible? Because they were, the lineage was, they came from a particular lineage through the line of David and all of these people. It came through one bloodline. And you got a problem with that? Many of the men who were represented and wrote the Bible had prominent positions in the Bible. God's chosen people came from a particular bloodline. You got a problem with that? Do you have a problem with that? Because I would argue that many of them were of the same ethnicity. You have a problem with that? Okay. All right. I guess you can't follow Jesus because he ain't African American. Okay. All right. Let me get up off here. I love you guys. Comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. See you on the next one. I'm out.